Welcome, everyone, to Google Cloud Next. It's wonderful to be back in person with everyone for the first time since 2019. You're here today because you're interested in hearing about real-time intelligence and how it can change your business. You may be wondering, how can my organization take advantage of the power of real-time intelligence and make it work with my existing investments? You may be concerned or skeptical that adding real-time intelligence to your workflows may be a little too costly or a little too cumbersome or maybe a little bit too confusing. My name is Sachin Agarwal. I'm a product lead here at Google Cloud in our data analytics organization, and I'm super excited to be with you today. I'll be covering how Google thinks about real-time intelligence, talk a little bit about how some of our customers have seen benefits. I'll spend a little bit of time on some of the recent innovations that we have, and then I'll be very excited to have Krish and Kedar from Ulta Beauty join me on stage to talk about their successes with real-time intelligence. Then we'll close with some next steps and call to action, and then have Q&A with you being able to ask us your questions. Sound good? Let's get into it. So let's get started by talking about the state of real-time intelligence today. Organizations everywhere, in all sorts of enterprises, every geo, every industry, are making investments in real-time decision making. And the way that we gather, process, visualize, and activate real-time data is new and transforming our business processes. Almost all organizations, 80% in this report, and even more in our experience, are really looking at operationalizing real-time intelligence with machine learning and AI. The real key to capitalize is understand that real-time intelligence is about those minute split-second opportunities to make better business decisions, leading to better business outcomes. And real-time data is being generated more than ever before. Everything's connected. We've been talking about the Internet of Things for many times, talking about server-to-server interaction, having data flows and data meshes and all of this working together. And then adding on top of that this generative AI moment where we need to gather the data, process it, and take advantage of these ML models and artificial intelligence and really make sense of this information so that we realize these better business outcomes. Talking about increasing our revenue, talking about reducing our costs, talking about furthering the bottom line, talking about better, unique, transformative, differentiated customer experiences to increase your lifetime value. And you're seeing this again in all sorts of industries. You're seeing it in social media. You're seeing it with different devices. We're seeing it with multi-channel commerce when we're bridging online and offline worlds. And again, these AI applications, generative AI with models that need to be updated in real time and applied to our real-time data feeds. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to real return on investment. 80% of organizations are seeing increased top-line revenue through leveraging real-time data. Some examples: personalized offers and omni-channel visibility. 62% of organizations are seeing efficiency and productivity gains, leading to lower costs and better bottom line performance. And you can see that with predictive maintenance when we're talking about heavy machinery or our supply chain. And speaking of supply chain, how do we make sure that our assortment is adapting in real time so we don't have wastage and breakage and spoilage in our warehouses? And look at that last number. Almost 100% of organizations are seeing increased customer satisfaction, leading to higher lifetime value and actually reduced customer acquisition costs. Examples of better fraud detection, so you have a better checkout experience. Network reliability, making sure you have capacity and availability when organizations and customers need to take advantage of your network. Personalized care, internet-connected devices, personalized healthcare, better outcomes. Real-time intelligence really does transform the way in which we look at, interact, and activate our business processes, our teams, our employees to have better business outcomes for our customers. So how can you take advantage of real time? Obviously, with Google Cloud, we have an approach that we think makes sense, and is differentiated by being truly universal. We are thinking about all engagement, from customers to machines to team members to partners. We're talking about all different kinds of analytics, machine learning, transformations, batch, real-time dashboarding, all kinds of data, not specialized streaming data only, but a truly unified system that takes your batch data, your streaming data, your structured data, your semi-structured data, video, audio, photos, bringing it all together in our unified data ecosystem so you can take advantage of the information you have and layer on top these benefits of real-time and streaming. And again, the speed. It's not a standalone streaming real-time system. It's deeply integrated with your existing investments through our partnerships, through our commitment to open source, and through our big platform of partners. Over 1,000 partners on the Google Cloud platform and growing every day. And of course, this is globally available. Google Cloud is one of the major hyperscaler clouds with more locations than ever before, and with unparalleled uptime. Over 5 nines of uptime worldwide. You heard us talk in today's keynote about the security that we have unique and differentiated in Google Cloud, so that these benefits are available to you, your customers, your partners, your employees, when you need it, when you need to rely on it. And so here is how we do it. This is our fully integrated golden path, cloud native to Google Cloud. We have PubSub for messaging, data flow for truly unified batch and streaming data processing with power of ML built in. BigQuery, our cloud native data warehouse, pioneering the separation of storage and compute. Built in with Vertex AI, we've had this ML framework and these possibilities, and this moment is here, and we have met the moment with Vertex AI. And Looker, obviously, next generation business intelligence, real-time dashboarding, seeing visualization so organizations, individuals, can make sense of this data. And just below, you can see the different ways in which this works. From activation, the choice that I talked about, open source, partners, continuous model training, making sure that we're taking advantage of real-time data as we generate it, so that our models aren't a day, a month, a year behind where we are today. And of course, activating those insights. It's more than just dashboards. It's more than just real-time visibility or predictions. It's real-time activation. How do we make changes in application state for better business outcomes? It's the power of real-time and the deeply integrated Google data and AI infrastructure that we've thoughtfully made sure works well together so that you can recognize these benefits in as short a time frame as possible. So again, what does this ROI look like with numbers? Well, Forrester conducted a total economic analysis for us and used just one part of that solution with data flow. This is based on a composite organization that, again, Forrester has independently put together. And you can see this. Increase in developer productivity, over 50%. Infrastructure costs, cut in half. Payback time measured in months, not years. Speaking to how deeply this integrates with existing investments. You don't have to create a parallel, new, complex infrastructure and then have a migration. And of course, that return on investment, that number, 171%. It makes total sense, right? Less than a year, almost double your return. It makes a ton of sense. And then when you layer on top some of our other products, like Vertex AI, which shows a 387% ROI, or Looker, which shows a 480% ROI, think of the compounding effects of taking advantage of the Google Cloud native golden path for real-time intelligence. And of course, you can talk to your account teams, and we're happy to provide these reports to you. but it's really interesting when you start layering on top these benefits and seeing these compounding effects. Here's a real-world example. Our customer Booking.com is one of the world's largest spenders on digital ads. They have this ginormous PPC, pay-per-click ad infrastructure that responds in real time to changes in weather, changes in events, changes in customer demand, and other signals that they see. And what they've done is they change their creative. They change their bidding strategy in a matter of moments by incorporating real-time data. They've mentioned that their spend is in the billions with a B, dollars per year when they talk about their overall marketing spend, and their PPC is a very substantial proportion of this. So you can imagine what the ROI is here. It's measured in millions of dollars. And you can see what that means with a very short implementation cycle. 30 times reduction in implementation time. Cutting down that system, cutting down that learning, cutting down that flywheel between gathering data, processing data, and activating that data from hours down to minutes, and working on making that even faster down to fewer minutes and even seconds. So I'm really excited to talk about some of our latest innovations in our products, and we have a couple of deep dive sessions later in Cloud Next tomorrow and Thursday, and I'll cover that a little bit later. So as I mentioned, PubSub is our truly cloud-native, global, partitionless, differentiated messaging infrastructure. And we've been really, really excited to make it even easier for organizations to get data with PubSub from where it is to where it needs to be. Last year, we introduced BigQuery subscriptions, which allows you to stream data directly into BigQuery and use it for ELT workloads. Now, we're bringing that same simplicity for your data lakes use cases with direct to Google Cloud Storage subscriptions. It makes it so easy. It gives you simplified data pipelines, lower latency and lower costs, and increased flexibility because there are batching options if you need it, flexibility in how you want to deploy it, and because we have the separation between publishers and subscribers in PubSub, you can attach these new subscriptions to your existing topics. Yet again, one of the ways that we intentionally invest in making sure that your existing investments can be leveraged in new and fundamental ways. Another exciting innovation that we have is Dataflow ML. This was announced at Cloud Next last year. And we've been very excited to see organizations taking advantage of the power of Dataflow, the truly unified batch and streaming data processing, and bringing that to bear for machine learning use cases. Run Inference allows you to do machine learning inference with just a few lines of code and allows you to do so with a variety of ML frameworks, including PyTorch, scikit-learn, NVIDIA Rapids, and of course, Google's own TensorFlow. Automatic model updates. Again, when I talked about making sure that your ML models aren't stuck in time, that you didn't just train them once and then leave them out there to atrophy as you get new data. The power of Dataflow allows you to continually update those models so that your real-time inferencing is as good as possible. Because the world isn't static. We are learning constantly and things are changing. Dataflow plus Vertex working together provides a truly end-to-end, real-time, streaming machine learning infrastructure for both training and activation. And this is unique to us at Google. And speaking of tight integration with Vertex, we have really spent a lot of time making the developer experience as good as possible. We know that it is hard, it is difficult to find these machine learning engineers, so it's incumbent on us to make them as productive as possible. And so with full MLOps support, tight integration with Vertex AI pipelines, we're allowing these machine learning engineers to spend more time on code and less time on infrastructure and all the other kludge, what we call toil, to make those things happen. So this is critically important and a differentiator for what makes Dataflow and the Google Data and AI Cloud unique for real-time intelligence. The last one that I want to talk about is more investments in developer experience beyond just machine learning. So we've really tried to make it as easy as possible for organizations to understand and realize the benefits of streaming through eliminating the need to manage infrastructure. One of the things that we've worked on is right fitting, dynamic thread scaling, and asymmetric scaling to essentially make it as easy as possible for the data flow system to handle all the infrastructure. Adding workers, removing workers when you don't need it, so that it scales up and down so you have no wasted spend while you're still getting those business outcomes, the real-time outcomes that you need to have. One of the common sources of performance problems in the streaming pipeline can be stragglers or late arriving data. These items take much longer to process than other types of data. This is one of the things that we've really focused on because we may not control the source systems that are feeding into us. And so we don't want to cut them off. We don't want to eliminate them from our processes. We want to handle them in an efficient way. We spent a lot of time making that as good as possible by really automatically determining the cause of that straggler and making it easy for you to heal your pipelines. Dynamic destinations. I talked before about how we are intentional about making our products work well together. Dynamic destinations for pub/sub messages allow you to move pub/sub messages to the right downstream system based on certain attributes that you define. This saves you money and it saves you time. And the way that it saves you money is by not having duplicate data that you then have to filter at the destination system. We do that further upstream so only the right information gets to the right place. And because you do that upstream, it saves time, saves the toil of having to re-implement that deduplication infrastructure over and over and over again. Imagine that you're using pub/sub's new payload unwrapping technology for reverse ETL use cases. You may have 100, 150 systems of record across just your marketing stack alone. This capability makes it super easy for you to make sure that the right information is getting to the right operational systems to drive your businesses. And lastly, I mentioned straggler detection, but another thing that we have is data sampling. How do we make sure that you as a developer can go and inspect what's happening in your pipelines? Well, we can automatically sample the actual data that's happening so that you have a reference as to what's happening. It's one of those trust but verify. We're making sure that you have the tools at hand to fully understand your systems so that you can make better business direction. And I'd love to talk about another customer that's been super successful. TELUS, an organization in Canada that does telecom, they've seen their data processing times reduced dramatically, a 20x reduction by taking on data flow and using it for its truly unified batch and streaming capabilities. And what's the better business outcome that they've been able to see? A 50% increased success rate in automatic customer resolution. Faster time to resolution, happier customers, reduced costs, increased revenue through the power of real-time intelligence. I'd love to invite Kedar and Krish up to the stage now to talk about their successes with Google's real-time intelligence solution. Please give them a hand. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
You can see who is who now.
Yep.
So, Kedar, why don't we start with you? Why don't you tell us just a little bit about Ulta and what makes Ulta unique and different?
Sure. Yeah, I'll be happy to. How many people here are shopping, have shopped at Ulta, or have someone in their household who shops at Ulta? A lot of hands. Good stuff. Very good. All right. I think most of you know who we are. We are by far the largest specialty beauty retailer here in the United States. And you can see it on the page here, right? We believe beauty does make the world a better place. We believe beauty is for everyone. We believe it brings out the best in everyone, and that's the entire business that we have built around this entity of beauty that brings joy to the world. So next page, please. So a few facts and figures about who we are as a company. So we are a publicly traded company, one of the, like I said, the largest beauty retailer in the US. We are about $10 billion in revenue. We have a significant presence in terms of stores, as well as our e-com business. We are amongst the top highest, fastest growing retailers out here in the United States. And one of the most proudest things that we have for us is our loyalty program. We have over 41 million active members. As of last week, we had our earnings call, and we have over 41 million active loyalty members on our loyalty card, right? And that generates a tremendous amount of data by which we can do really wonderful things in terms of our customer interactions. And then one final quick page, please. And what makes us special is really what I call our secret sauce on a page. You can see the key aspects of our strategy that have really been contributing to our success. So it all starts with our store base. We have a very strategic real estate asset base that we leverage for promoting and encouraging our customers to engage with beauty. We have a very wide assortment. We have essentially all things beauty all under one roof. We have, of course, our very strong digital experience model. It jives very well with that's what I think brings us a lot of power, being able to combine our brick and mortar experience with our digital experiences. And then, of course, our loyalty program, which I talked about, one of our crown jewels. And finally, our services business. Not many people know that we also have a full service salon in almost every single store, and that creates a significant stickiness factor with our customers and provides all their beauty needs under one roof. So that's kind of what Ulta Beauty is. We are, like I said, one of the biggest retailers in beauty, and we do some amazing things in terms of data. And that's actually, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Krish, who's going to talk about what we are doing with data.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Kedar. That's a really great intro. So you'll see the name Darwin. You can read it as evolution, right? It's an acronym for a longer thing. But as Kedar mentioned, we have 41 million loyalty active customers, right? They make millions and millions of transactions. We have 6+ distribution centers. So that means we are actually sitting on the gold mine of information. But it just doesn't give you a value until you have a solid foundation that ensures that you have really good quality data that is reliable, available at the real time or near real time, right? And it's available for the business usage in a self-service mode. Because if they're constantly relying on some technology partner for making the data available, it slows down the process. You mentioned about split-second decisioning, right? You can't have too many handles, right? And that's what we are doing. But we have a really big vision there. As you're setting the foundation with the right set of platform and engineering that's scalable, makes data available real time, we have the right set of governance on top of it, but our vision is broader. We are really democratizing it across the organization so that most of the time you see the marketing starts by leveraging the information and all, but we are pushing it across all lines of business, I'll call it store operation, supply chain, merchandising, right, finance, so that we as an organization can really, really extract the value of our data. And that's what we are doing as part of Darwin.
Yep.
That's awesome. And it's really, really interesting to hear about you talking about democratizing and getting things out of the loop so people can self-service.
That's correct.
You mentioned things around merchandising, around supply chain, other areas. Do you have a specific example where this Darwin data platform has allowed those end users to self-service and realize better business outcomes?
Absolutely. Actually, there are quite a lot.
Yeah.
Let's start with loss prevention. So for those of you in the retail industry, as you can imagine, this organized crime, right, retail crime, and the losses becomes a big factor, and it impacts the bottom line. So prior to this, just a quick example of it, prior to setting up Darwin, right, we had loss prevention team creating Excel spreadsheet from pulling information from different places and then emailing it out to the store or the distribution center and then getting feedback again and then again collecting the information back, correcting it, and feeding it back again. Instead, what we have done, we have actually the real-time data coming into this ecosystem, and it's available in the form of a dashboard. So based on your access level, you can just go click, 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 you get the information. It's this tremendous amount of efficiency gain we just realized, and within a very short period of time. So that's a great example. And there are lots of other examples, the finance and supply chain, they're all looking at it.
Yes, I'll add one more example to that. We have, we have a large merchandising function, right? Of course, we sell product. Our product is ultimately, we buy the product from various brand partners. Our merchant team actually is using price elasticity models developed by my team to make better decisions on pricing. So they have price elasticity models they can use to inform and have more productive data-based discussions with our brand partners when we are talking about pricing changes in an upcoming quarter or for an upcoming season. Another quick real-time example, that is not particularly real-time, but the other real-time example is personalization, right? So we are constantly collecting data signals as customers are looking at our digital properties and using those data signals to in fact inform real-time product recommendations or messaging or reinforced messaging based on where they might be in their life cycle and any particular promotion that we may have active at any given point of time.
No, that's awesome. And one of the things that's really great is you mentioned the pricing example, which is not necessarily a real-time one, but you have a single system that you're using for your real-time and your batch use cases. And being able to bring data to those sometimes difficult conversations maybe with your brand partners, makes all the difference in the world. And so you have to have trust in that.
Yes, exactly.
We talked a little bit about the functions inside your organization and how they've benefited. I'd love to hear an example or two of how this benefits the end consumer, those 41 million people in Ulta Rewards, the folks who come in. How are they benefiting? Those teenagers that love you. Tell me how the data platform with Darwin, really makes that better.
Yeah, I think the biggest example I would provide there is, again, in the realm of personalization, right? So with 41 million active members on our customer file, we know, our customers, and most of them are right? She's telling us what she's buying, when she's buying, how often, when not, all kinds of signals she's giving us willingly. It is so much powerful for them when we are using those signals to make much more informed and better messaging to them back in return, right? So it goes in the form of personalization of emails. It goes in the form of personalization of landing pages on our website. It's in terms of personalizing the app experience, providing very specific offers that may be relevant to a particular person. Knowing what their preferences are makes a hell of a lot of a difference, right, in their lives when they are ready to engage in the category, which it's almost every day.
I can possibly add something. If you look at our historically how a customer behave, right? If you go back maybe 10, 15 years back, the customer was happy to get a offer on your mailbox, right? And react to it maybe after 2 or 3 weeks, possibly take it out, and then look at it, make a trip to mall, and then use it, right? I think those days are gone, right?
Yeah.
Usually, I don't know how many of you open your mailbox and look at the offer. Usually, you toss it in the trash can, right? So our new generation expect us to know them better, right? Expect us to know what their choices are, so that hyper-personalization, really, really knowing just beyond the information that they usually provide, but really stitching together their behavior, gonna enable us, or enable anyone to target them properly. And that's what we're doing. That's how we are gaining the traction in that constituents, because their pattern is completely changing, and we have to evolve based on the pattern.
Right. You can implement these things, and then they change in response to it, and then you can't have been left behind.
That's
you have
correct.
to continually update the way that you engage, the way that your models assume, what these interaction patterns are, and the data can be inside the 41 or outside with other signals that you have as well.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really wonderful. Thank you so much. Let me talk a little bit about how everyone here in the audience can realize the benefits that you have, and then we'll open it up for your Q&A. Sound good?
Okay.
So, a couple of things. We have lots and lots of ways to help you and your organization realize these benefits, and I just want to highlight some of them. You can talk to your account team to sign up for a Hackfest workshop, where you can work with Google or a partner in your environment to do a proof of concept and see what's happening. We have lots of self-service and guided trainings. We have Dataflow Academy, for one specific product, to make it super easy, and we go in depth, in person, with you on the power of data flow. But then we also have things like Coursera and Beam College, where you can self-service and share videos with your team so you can learn some of these tools across not only data flow, but the rest of the Google data and AI stack. And you can accelerate your time to value by, well, great artists steal. We have reference patterns and reference architectures that you can look at for a wide variety of use cases to see how to use the Google data and AI products together to realize better business value. Again, there are some additional sessions that I mentioned earlier. Machine learning to streaming data, that's tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And then BigQuery at the center of our data lakehouse. We have talking about continuous real-time analytics in SQL, bringing the power of streaming in real time, democratizing it into all of our products. Learning from each other is how we do it internally to bring better value, meeting you where you are. You can learn more about that in the replay on Thursday. And with every session here, we do want your feedback, so please do complete the session survey in the mobile app. 5 stars, all the rest of it. I am your Uber driver for the day. And that'd be great. I do want to leave you with a story. So I'm a photographer. I have been my entire life. I started off with those disposable cameras, the yellow ones. When I got to high school, my dad gave me this, which is a Yashica SLR that he had when he moved from India to the States. And so in high school, I used this, took a lot of photos, was in the dark room, processing my photos and all the rest of it. Well, for those of you who don't remember, when we had film, you only had 24 exposures on a roll of film. And processing that film and developing those photos took a fair amount of time. This really made you be judicious in which pictures you took, because you wanted to be thoughtful about, I only have so many in my roll. The expense and the tediousness of going through and developing and processing and making these photos, was a lot. But now, we have cameras, in our pockets. Yeah. Digital cameras on our phones completely changes this, right? I have an unlimited amount of storage on my phone and in Google Cloud for my Google Photos that syncs with Nest Hubs so that the photos that I take that I share can immediately show up in the living rooms of the grandparents of my 2 kids. They love this. And what it allows me to do is see exactly what photos I take in real time. I can tell immediately if the kid was smiling or scowling or making a face. I can tell immediately if I was shaking or my finger got in the lens or all the rest of it. In real time, I can tell the kid, go, sit, smile, we're doing this again, or I have captured the moment and we can go on. The outcome I want hasn't changed in the 40 years of my life. I want to capture and share the memories that matter with those who love my kids the most, right? And that's exactly what we're doing with real-time intelligence. We're taking advantage of new technology to solve the same problems, but with totally different processes that transform the way we think about it, that eliminate some of these barriers, that allow us to achieve those outcomes faster and with much more confidence. So I'd love to leave that with you. Think about the ways where there aren't incremental improvements by going from batch or micro-batch to real time. Think about the fundamental assumptions that you may have that no longer apply in a real-time world. That's the power of real-time intelligence. Thank you so much.